AI-generated content is everywhere now. It's in the articles we read, the images we scroll past. It's incredibly powerful, no doubt. But it also brings up this huge, nagging question. In a world just flooded with AI stuff, how can we actually trust what we see? How do we know what's real anymore? That's what we're going to get into.
And this isn't some far-off sci-fi scenario. Get this, just last year, a lawyer in New York submitted a legal brief and it cited a bunch of court cases that didn't exist at all. Turns out, ChatGPT had just made them up. The whole thing. Now, yeah, that's a huge embarrassment for the lawyer for sure, but it's also this massive red flag for all of us.
So that really begs the question, right? Why would this incredibly powerful AI just invent facts? Doesn't it know the difference between what's true and what's a lie? It's so easy for us to think of these things as these giant, all-knowing brains, but the reality is way more complicated. To figure out why this stuff happens, we really need to understand what an AI is actually built to do.
And really, it all comes down to this. An AI doesn't know things the way you or I do. It's not even playing the same game. It's a totally different kind of intelligence with a completely different end goal.
I mean, for centuries, philosophers have kind of settled on this idea of what it means to know something. It's not just about believing a thing is true. That belief actually has to be true. And you need a solid reason, some kind of evidence or justification for believing it, right? That's the gold standard for us humans.
Okay, and this slide, right here, this is the absolute core of the issue. When we as humans ask a question, what we want is the truth. We want an answer that lines up with reality. But a large language model, an LLM, its goal is something else entirely. It's designed to create an answer that just sounds convincing, an answer that is statistically likely based on the massive amounts of text it's been fed.
This quote just nails it. The AI is indifferent to truth. It's not trying to lie to you, but it's not trying to tell you the truth either. It just doesn't care. Its only job is to put words together in a plausible-sounding way. So, if the truth happens to be the most statistically likely answer, awesome. But if a complete fabrication sounds more plausible based on its data, it will serve that up with the exact same level of confidence. Truth isn't the goal. It's just a potential happy accident along the way.
Okay, so what happens when we start to rely on systems that care more about sounding good than being right? What does that do to our shared sense of reality? Well, it turns out it creates some really specific and frankly pretty dangerous problems.
Experts have basically boiled it down to 4 main ways that AI can seriously mess with our understanding of the world. Let's break them down, because I'm willing to bet you're already seeing these in action, maybe without even realizing it.
All right, first up, hallucinations. And this is exactly what happened with that lawyer we talked about at the beginning. It's when an AI just makes stuff up. A fake legal case, a non-existent scientific paper, you name it. But the scary part is, it presents this made-up information with all the authority and confidence of a real fact. It doesn't know that it's wrong, so it just confidently fills in the gaps.
And yeah, this quote puts it perfectly. It's basically producing, well, bullshit in the strict philosophical sense. There's this philosopher, Harry Frankfurt, who made a great point. A liar knows the truth and is trying to hide it. But someone who's bullshitting, they just don't care about the truth at all. And that is a perfect description of what these AI models are doing. Okay, number 2 is something we're all familiar with, echo chambers. Think about the algorithm that runs your social media feed. Its number 1 job isn't to inform you, it's to keep you scrolling. And what's the easiest way to do that? Show you more of what you already like and agree with. The result? Over time, your world gets smaller and smaller, and you get trapped in this bubble where everyone seems to think just like you. Third on the list, deepfakes. And this is a two-sided problem. On the one hand, yeah, AI can create scarily realistic fake videos and audio. But the second, and maybe even more dangerous part, is something called the liar's dividend. Now that we all know deepfakes are possible, it becomes super easy for a bad actor to get caught on a real video and just say, nope, that's a deepfake. It gives them plausible deniability and just destroys our trust in everything we see and hear. And finally, number 4 is bias. An AI is only as good as the data it's trained on. And since it's trained on, well, pretty much the entire internet and a library of books written by humans, it learns all of our human biases too. So if the data underrepresents or misrepresents certain groups, the AI's output is going to do the same thing. There's a term for this, epistemic injustice. It's a fancy way of saying the system unfairly silences or dismisses certain people's knowledge and experience.
Okay, so that's all pretty heavy, I know. It can sound a little bit hopeless. But here's the good news. We are not powerless here. Not at all. This is a challenge we can definitely rise to. But, and this is a big but, it's going to take all of us doing our part.
So, there's no magic button we can press to fix this. Think of it more like a three-legged stool. The solution needs support from three key groups: the people who actually build these AI models, the giant platforms that put them out into the world, and, well, us, the everyday users.
Let's start with the developers. Honestly, they have a huge responsibility to design these things with truth in mind. That means actually building in mechanisms that prioritize accuracy over just sounding good. It means being upfront and honest about what the AI can and can't do, and really digging into their data to root out all that bias we talked about.
And then you've got the big platforms. We're talking about Google, Meta, TikTok, you name it. Their responsibility is massive. Simple things like clearly labeling content that's made by AI, tweaking their algorithms so they boost authoritative sources instead of just whatever's going viral, and, critically, having actually humans in the loop for content moderation, not just leaving it all up to another algorithm.
And last but not least, that brings us to our role, to our responsibilities. We just can't be passive consumers of information anymore. We have to build up our critical AI literacy. It's about forming a new habit, a little voice in the back of your head that's always asking, wait a second, where did this come from? Could this be AI generated? It's about being curious enough to check other sources, and maybe most importantly, being humble enough to change our minds when we find out we were wrong.
So, in the end, it really all boils down to a choice. Are we going to treat AI as an incredible tool, something that can help us learn and create, with us firmly in the driver's seat? Or are we going to treat it like some kind of magical oracle, blindly trusting whatever it tells us? Which one of those futures are we going to build? Because really, the choice is up to us.